So to begin today's ceremony, I'd like to recognize the recipients of the Peer Achievement Award. So just a little bit about this award. These ribbons that the honorees are receiving today means that their actions represent a degree of competency, excellence, or professionalism, that clearly distinguishes them. This award is voted on by their colleagues, and as always, I want to thank the employees who take time to nominate their peers for these awards. So with the following Peer Achievement recipients, please join me here at the podium. Corrections Officer LaShawn Williams, Detective Curtis Gilliard, Police Officer Laura Hackett, Detective Alan Richardson, Police Officer Jimmy Rock, and Officer Deneen Brody. Please join me up here. All right, congratulations to you all. Let's give them one more round. So next, I'd like to invite our July 2017 Corrections Officer of the Month to join me at the podium, Officer Holly Shinholz. So Holly is currently assigned to the Administrative Transportation Unit, where she serves as a hospital transport to UF Health. This involves transporting inmates to and from their scheduled appointments at the hospital and other medical facilities, and then back to the corrections facility where they are housed. Today, she's being recognized for going above and beyond her normal duties and for reporting what appeared to be a domestic dispute earlier this year. Toward the end of her shift, on Tuesday, February 7th, Holly was on the way to the Montgomery Correctional Center, also known as the prison, in her assigned JSO vehicle when she noticed something unusual, to say the least. Holly was driving I-95 north near Lynn Turner and the Norwood exit when she saw a white sedan cross over from the far lane into the inside lane. And to Holly's surprise, a male was clinging to the side of the vehicle, the outside. So Holly Shinholzer estimated that the vehicle to be traveling at a speed of about 50 miles an hour. Holly immediately radioed dispatch and requested assistance from patrol units in that area. She followed the vehicle off the interstate when the driver of the vehicle exited onto Lynn Turner Road. This is when the male fell off the side of the vehicle while the driver was making a turn. Ultimately, the driver stopped the car just east of I-95 near the overpass. Holly exited her JSO vehicle and spoke with the driver, requesting that she remain on scene to be interviewed by patrol officers regarding the events that had just transpired. And the driver complied with this request. A few minutes later, the male who had fallen off the vehicle arrived at the scene and told Holly that he was okay, but she noticed that he was holding his left arm and he appeared to be injured. So she questioned the male, and he stated that it was a misunderstanding between him and his girlfriend.
Of course it was.
He also had a baby in the car. Apparently she didn't realize he was outside the car and not in the car. So when patrol officers arrived on scene, Holly gave a statement and then went back to her normal duties. So Holly's supervisor, Corrections Sergeant Kenneth Robinson, said, and I quote, "Her performance of duties and attention to detail are exceptional." Sergeant Robinson credited those skills for her work during this incident and went on to say that her actions quite possibly stopped the incident from turning tragic. And I'm pleased to award you, Holly, with this month's Corrections Officer of the Month award. Congratulations. Corrections Officer of the Month Award is sponsored by JM Family Enterprises, and I'd like Mark Lunsford to join me at the podium. Mark.
Good morning. It's an honor to be here today, recognizing the outstanding achievements of Officer Shinholzer. Thank you. And on behalf of the JM family and our corporate security team, we have a small token of appreciation here, a gift card, a nice pen. And please keep up your outstanding service to our community. Thank you.
I know you have some family here. Point them out. Parents, grandparents. All right. Thank y'all for coming. We appreciate it. Congratulations. Let's give it a round. So Holly comes from a law enforcement family, as many here at JSO know. And a big part of law enforcement culture is obviously sharing some war stories throughout the years. I would say Holly's probably got one for the Thanksgiving table coming up this year that she can share with everybody. Congratulations, Holly. So next I'd like to invite our July 2017 Civilian Employee of the Month, Dental Assistant Marinas Castro. Please join me at the podium. So today we are recognizing Marinas for her overall approach to her job and her unwavering work ethic. Marinas is assigned to work in the Health Services Division and has managed the responsibilities of 2 dental assistants for several months now. Her duties include, but are not limited to, maintaining schedules and assisting the dentist in setting up treatment, sterilizing instruments, and getting the patient's vitals and x-rays prior to treatment. As you can imagine, this job is not easy. Each month, Marinas schedules more than 200 patients from all 3 correctional facilities for various types of dental work. She works daily to ensure the workload for both dentists is handled efficiently. In fact, she has managed to reduce the dental treatment waiting list from more than 1 month to about 2 weeks. In addition to scheduling, she is responsible for hundreds of dental instruments that are used in the Division of Health Services. Each of these tools must be logged in to make sure they are cleaned, sterilized, and tracked and inventoried. As you can imagine, this is especially important in a correctional facility. So her supervisor, Senior Manager of Health Services, Christy Edmonds, had this to say: Ms. Castro's work ethic, determination, and commitment to her job and providing quality patient care deserves recognition. Marinas, thank you for stepping up, taking on the extra workload and supporting the staff in the clinic. I appreciate your dedication to your job, and congratulations on earning the July 2017 Civilian Employee of the Month Award. Congratulations. So our civilian, Employee of the Month Award is sponsored by Hamburg Dinner Theater. And I'd like to invite my friend Greg Smith to the podium. Greg.
You learn something new every month. I didn't realize we had a dental department at the jail. But, and I didn't realize Spider-Man lived in Jacksonville either. Anyway, congratulations on your award for being commended for your excellent efforts. And on behalf of the Alhambra Theater and the entire city, we thank you and have a nice plaque and some tickets to come see a show. The Addams Family's coming up. So that was an impromptu plug, by the way. So congratulations. Thanks so much.
Just the JSO family here with us today. Thank y'all for coming out. So next, I'd like to invite our July 2017 Police Supervisor of the Month to come to the podium with Police Sergeant Brian Healy going to the podium. Right? So Brian is assigned to work in the Investigation Division, specifically in the burglary unit. Today, we are recognizing him for his leadership role in investigating and solving burglaries that were occurring in 2 patrol zones earlier this year. So between Sunday, February 26th and Friday, March 10th, 7 burglaries occurred in zones 1 and zone 2. And if you're not familiar, those are the downtown Springfield and Arlington areas of the city. These crimes had a pattern where a suspect or suspects would cut the outside fence to gain entry into the business. And while inside the fenced area, the suspects stole various tools and items from work trucks. Brian was assigned as the lead sergeant and oversaw this investigation. He and his team of 2 detectives used surveillance videos and were able to quickly piece together the similarities of these burglaries. The video footage also helped in establishing a person of interest and identifying a suspect vehicle. Brian took this information and began compiling all of the pertinent information regarding the businesses that were burglarized, along with information on the suspect and suspect's vehicle. So without getting into all the details, I can tell you that as the investigation progressed, Brian fine-tuned a plan and developed this plan for the ongoing investigation. During one of the planned deployments at approximately 2 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday, March 22nd, suspects were attempting to steal a trailer and various tools valued at more than $8,000. Ultimately, both suspects were taken into custody during a stakeout of that deployment and charged with multiple felonies and misdemeanors. So a few days later, the detectives were able to charge the suspects for 3 additional burglaries to businesses in that Zone 1 area. Ryan's supervisor, Police Lieutenant Ray Belts, had this to say: Sergeant Healy did an outstanding job supervising the operation, and he contributed on many different levels. So Brian, I want to thank you for being an example to your peers. Congratulations on solving these cases in a really short time span. You truly exemplify the Sheriff's Office core values of community focused and worthy of trust. Congratulations on earning the Police Supervisor of the Month Award for July 27th. So our Police Supervisor of the Month Award is sponsored by Steinmark, and I'd like to invite Woody Watson to come in and podium.
Good morning. Sergeant Haley, on behalf of Steinmark and our asset protection team, would like to present you with this plaque. Thank you so much for your service to our community, sir.
Right there is your family.
3 kids, my beautiful wife Tracy, people from Meritorious.
Thank y'all for being here. Congratulations. So you just heard about the sergeant that led this investigation. Now it's time to recognize the 2 detectives that diligently worked on this case and bring it to a successful conclusion. And I'd like to invite Detective Glenn Karst, and actually Mike Tomberg couldn't be here today. Glenn, come on up. So Glenn and again Mike, Detective Mike Tomberg, who couldn't be here today, are both assigned to the burglary unit. And today, they will each be receiving a certificate of commendation for their active roles in the investigation that led to the arrest of the 2 suspects that I highlighted during Brian's recognition. So late February, early March of this year, Glenn and Mike worked as the team reviewing the surveillance videos and reports, which led to establishing a person of interest and identifying the suspect vehicle used in the multiple burglaries that we talked about. As I previously stated, I won't go into the details of the case, but through the thoroughness and teamwork put forth by Brian, Glenn, and Mike, it led the suspect being taken into custody in mid-March. After patrol took the suspects into custody on Wednesday, March 22nd, both Glenn and Mike came into the office early that day to conduct the interviews. Police Sergeant Brian Healy said this, and I quote: Detectives Tomberg and Karst should be commended for their hard work, diligence, and how it exemplifies the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office core values of community focused and always improving. So Glenn, great work, and I'm honored to present you with this certificate of commendation. Congratulations. JSO family. All right. So next, I'd like to invite Officer David Boostris to join me at the podium. David? I was close. Boostris. So David is assigned to work in Patrol Zone 2, which includes the Arlington area of the city. Today, I have the honor of presenting him with a Medal of Merit for his exceptional meritorious action that he took earlier this year when he safeguarded a citizen from gunfire. Those of you that are unfamiliar with JSO's Medal of Merit, it is awarded to employees who have demonstrated exceptional courage by performing a voluntary course of action in an extremely dangerous situation. So during the evening hours of Tuesday, May 9th, a call went out by dispatch in reference to a possible robbery attempt. It turns out that the mother of the suspect in this case thought her son might try to rob a cab driver. When the cab driver was interviewed by patrol officers, the driver advised that the individual never made any threatening statements or displayed a gun at any time while he was in the cab. So following the interview, the officers followed up with the complainant, the suspect's mother, who informed the officers about a domestic issue that had occurred with her son. She advised police that earlier in that day, the subject had a dispute with his sibling and displayed a handgun. She also stated that she believed he needed help and that he was currently at her residence. Ultimately, the decision was made to conduct a welfare check on the individual, and a team was assembled, and David was one of the members of this response team. When the officers arrived at home, they made contact with the woman's son, but only through a closed front door. The individual advised that he was not coming out and that he wanted to speak to his mother. The mother complied and spoke with her son, however, he still refused to open the door. A few minutes later, he partially opened the door and officers attempted to gain access to the home. And that is when he started firing his gun through the open door at the officers. With no regard to his own safety, David immediately acted by using his body to shield the suspect's mother from gunfire with no available cover and concealment for himself. And when the suspect moved away from the door to an inner part of the residence, David led the suspect's mother to safety. SWAT officers later responded to the scene, and they were also threatened, and after the suspect pointed the gun at them, unfortunately, this required them to respond with deadly force. I think Police Sergeant Jason Williams said it best when he stated, "Your actions display the honor of having the integrity, responsibility, and accountability to always approve in the situation at hand. Your actions display the courage by doing the right thing in the right way, for the right reasons, in being worthy of trust and having respect for each other. Your actions display the commitment of being community-focused and your dedication to the oath you swore when you pinned on your badge." So David, I speak to everyone here at the Jackson Sheriff's Office when I say that we are grateful that you were not injured during this call. We applaud your bravery that day, and I'm honored to present you with one of JSO's Medal of Merit awards. Congratulations. So the Medal of Merit is co-sponsored by Mayor's Bank and the Justice Coalition. And I'd like to invite Robert Bracewell and Michael Francis to join me at the podium.
On behalf of the Justice Coalition, along with Mayor's Bank, we are honored and privileged to be here today to make this presentation to you for such an outstanding great act. God bless you. Thank you for being where you are.
Yes, and on behalf of the Mayor's Bank, we thank you for your service.
David's family. Next, I'd like to ask Police Officer Tyler Coward and Police Officer Eric Magella to join me at the podium. So these two are both assigned to work in Zone 1, which includes the downtown and Springfield areas of the city. They have the privilege to present them both with a life-saving medal. The actions that they took earlier this year led to saving an individual's life. So late in the evening of Sunday, January 22nd, Eric and Tyler responded to the McDonald's on Norwood Avenue in reference to a person in medical distress. Upon the officer's arrival, an unconscious male was located in the back passenger seat of the sedan. Tyler checked the citizen's vitals and was unable to feel a pulse. Together, Tyler and Eric then moved the male from the vehicle, placed him on the ground in order to start CPR. Tyler positioned the man's head to facilitate breathing while Eric performed chest compressions. They worked as a team on the citizen before Jackson Fire Rescue arrived on scene to relieve them. The patient was rushed to a local hospital where he regained a pulse. Witnesses stated that the individual said he was feeling lightheaded prior to going into this distress. And following the event, Fire Chief Jill McElwee returned to the scene in order to convey her respect and praise for both Officer Cowan and Miguel. She stated that the efforts put forth by these officers were clearly responsible for saving that patient's life. Eric and Tyler, your actions that day are to be commended. Your quick response contributed to saving this man's life, and I'm proud to present both of you with this life-saving medal. Congratulations. I said, you guys want another picture with the plaques? You're like, no, sir, that's okay. So the life-saving award is sponsored by the Federal Order of Police, and I'd like to invite Randy Reeves, Vice President of the FP, to come to the podium. Thank you.
Hey, good morning. I'm standing in for our President Steve Zona, who couldn't be here. I always say it every time I come. It's always an honor to present this award, especially life-saving award. Nothing better you can do throughout your whole career than saving a life. So on behalf of Lodge 530 and the Fraternal Order of Police, great job for both you guys. I'm going to present you guys with the plaque.
Thank you all for being here. They're like, get me the heck out of here. Listen, Randy's right. There's nothing more important than we can do in our career, so it's an honor to recognize you two for doing that. So the mission of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office is to serve and protect in partnership with our community. One key element to helping us accomplish our mission is obviously help from great community partners. So with that said, today I'd like to present Pastor Christopher Screws from Evangel Temple with a certificate of appreciation. Pastor, would you please join me at the podium? So In the fall of last year, Pastor Screws invited members of the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office to participate in Evangel Temple's Mission of Hope 2016. So Pastor Screws had the idea to have members of his congregation team up with uniformed officers to deliver Christmas gifts to children and families in need. This was made possible through the generosity of Pastor Screws and the congregation at Evangel Temple. In turn, this outreach helped us in our continuous efforts to build trust in our community and demonstrate that we too are citizens who love this city. Police Sergeant Dennis Payo had this to say about the event. This also moved our police officers spiritually, which provided a sense of satisfaction that we help children and families in a time of need. He went on to say that this grand opportunity to help a community in need and to create dreams and unforgettable moments for these children is everlasting. Pastor, I want to thank you for all you do for this community and for inviting us to participate in this event, and I'm honored to recognize you with a certificate of appreciation. Thank you so much. Just his JSO. So we talk a lot about not being able to be successful in our mission unless we have the support and partnership in our community, and that exemplifies that. And we have examples of that all over the city, and we really, truly have a great community here in Jacksonville that steps up and again, helps us fulfill our mission every single day. So again, an honor to recognize you this morning. Thank you so much. So again, we can't do our job each day without helping the citizens in our community. That said, for our next recognition, I'd like to invite Police Officer Phil Rossomano and Mr. Tony Self to the podium. So Phil is currently assigned to work at the firing range, but prior to this lateral move within the agency, he was assigned to work in the K-9 unit, where he actively patrolled the streets of the city with his K-9 partner, service dog Kane. Kane is a 7-year-old German Shepherd from Europe. And Phil and Kane are certified in explosives detection and criminal patrol work. Today I'll be presenting Phil with a Peer Achievement Award, and I'll be presenting Tony with a certificate of appreciation for their actions that led to taking a serial burglary suspect into custody. So around 3:30 in the morning on Thursday, March 2nd of this year, officers were dispatched to a burglary in progress at a jewelry store in the 12,000 block of Atlantic Boulevard. When patrol units arrived at the scene, officers obtained information from an eyewitness who said the suspect had just fled westbound on Atlantic Boulevard in a Nissan pickup truck. The information was relayed to dispatch, and a BOLO, or Be on the Lookout, transmission was put out via the radio to the officers. Phil, who was on patrol with police service dog Kane, saw the suspect vehicle turning westbound near the 10,000 block of Atlantic Boulevard. Phil attempted to conduct a traffic stop. However, the suspect did not comply. He turned off the vehicle's lights and fled from the area in a reckless manner. The suspect ultimately ended up in an Arlington neighborhood. And again, ultimately, the suspect crashed his vehicle into a telephone pole. When Phil and his K-9 partner Kane arrived at the scene, they exited the vehicle and began searching for the suspect. Phil quickly determined that the suspect was still inside the vehicle, just as the suspect put the truck in reverse and continued to back up at a high rate of speed, almost striking Phil, Kane, and the police car. The suspect put the car back into drive, but drove subsequently right back into the same telephone. They make it easy for us sometimes. Following the crash, the suspect exited the vehicle and fled on foot. Kane engaged the suspect, causing him to fall to the ground. While on the ground, the suspect was violently resisting both Phil and Kane. And during the altercation, the suspect struck Kane in the face and the body, and Kane sustained some injuries to his ear. Now remember, all this is taking place in a neighborhood in the middle of the night, and this is when Tony comes into the story. Tony and his wife both heard the commotion from the loud crash outside of their home, and they heard Phil yelling commands to the suspect, and that's when he exited his home to assist Phil and Kane. Tony asked Phil what he could do to help, and Phil originally asked him to stand back and not to come near Kane. However, as the struggle progressed, Phil asked Tony to intervene. Phil directed Tony on what to do, and Tony, with no regard for his own safety, assisted in holding the suspect down until backup officers arrived at the scene. And the backup officers arrived, they took the suspect into custody, and the officers later found a large amount of jewelry in the bed of the suspect's pickup truck. The suspect was ultimately charged with 8 felony property crimes in Duval County, in addition to some cases in some other jurisdictions. As for those of you wondering about Kane, fortunately, he did not sustain any severe injuries, and he made a full recovery without missing any work. And this is great work by all involved. Police Sergeant Charlie Bird said this, and I quote, "Mr. Self showed no regard for his own personal safety during this incident, and he was only focused on assisting Officer Rosmano in apprehending this violent suspect. Tony, your selfless actions that night are truly commendable, and I cannot thank you enough for helping Phil and Kane. And on behalf of Phil, Kane, and the JSO, I'm truly honored to present you with this certificate of appreciation. Congratulations."
I'd like to thank my wife. She told me to go out there and do it.
Just like a good husband, we all follow orders. I like that. So Phil, I'm honored to present you again with your second peer achievement ribbon for your hard work and your actions that day. So I just asked Phil where Kane was. Sometimes when a canine officer moves on, they depending on the age of the dog, they take the dog with them. Kane is actually still working as a canine officer with a new handler, so I'm sure you get to visit him from time to time. So. Listen, both you guys, congratulations. Family here with you. Wheelie family, range guys, JSO family, Larry Proper. Tony, your wife?
Yeah, my wife, my mom, my dad, my daughter, my grandkids.
So thank you all for being here. Should have Kane in here with us. Should have Kane in here with us.
I don't know if we want that,
So I feel like I'm a little bit on repeat mode here, but we can't do our job each day without the support of those in the community. With that said, with Jan White and the members of the women's group from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, please join me in prayer. All right, Jan and the entire group of these women volunteered their time at the Jacksonville Reentry Center. And for those of you who are not familiar with JREC, as we call it, this program helps individuals successfully transition back into our community following incarceration with the goal of reducing recidivism. So, I say all the time, there's a couple things we can do with people coming back from prison. We can leave them at the bus station, they'll go back to the same neighborhood, with the same friends, and ultimately fall into the same pattern of behavior and victimize one of us in this community again, and ultimately wind up back in prison. Or we can engage them, for us, usually before they get out of prison, and help them build some skills that can really help them become productive citizens in our community. So JREC is incredibly successful in doing that. And Jan has spearheaded the relationship between the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints, and along with these volunteers, they have assisted the staff at JREC by helping to meet the needs of the participants enrolled in the program. So for the past several years, they have volunteered both their time and resources. They have even stocked the pantry with food items, provided work readiness items such as steel-toe boots, blue jeans, tools, and even wallets so that participants have a place to keep their ID, cards, and driver's license. The donation of food is truly a blessing, as the members of the program have not been approved for assistance yet, since they cannot apply until they are released from incarceration. Jan and her team come by twice a month to volunteer at the facility, and they help keep these clothing closets organized and well stocked. In one instance, the team assisted a single mother who was enrolled at JREC with outfitting her with a new apartment, or her new apartment with necessities, and I'm happy to say that that mother successfully reintegrated back into the community, and she ultimately was reunited with her 3 children. Teresa Smith, who is administrative specialist at JREC, said this, and I quote, "It is the type of community partner engagement that we are making a significant impact in the lives of those returning to our community, and we applaud their continued support and commitment to the JREC mission." So I want to thank you all for your loyalty and your dedication to helping us support these individuals transitioning back in our community, and I'm honored to present you with a certificate of appreciation for a job well done. Thank you so much. Did you guys bring family with you today? or-
My husband is over here.
Your husband's there. Good morning, sir. How are you? Thank you all for what you do. So next, I'd like to recognize those who have reached an important employment anniversary with JSO. With 20 years of service with Corrections Services Counselor Lawrence Jefferson, please join me. And with 25 years of service with fingerprint technician Sheila Counts, joining the podium. Sheila. So I was very pleased when Mr. Charles Shinholzer, who along with his wife Virginia, started the Concerns of Police Survivors chapter here in Jacksonville in 1988 when they called me. So he asked me that we recognize someone who was very special and instrumental in the success of the COPS organization. So with that, we'll retire Officer Kurt Clark, please join me at the podium, and I also believe Randy Reeves and Mr. Shinholzer, please join me here. So in just a second, I'm going to ask Mr. Shinholzer to talk about COPS and concerns of police survivors, and just share with the group here what a great organization it is and what they do. But let me start by talking about Kurt here just for a minute. So 27 years ago yesterday, July 26, 1990, Kurt Clark and his partner, Warren Sanders, were met with a barrage of gunfire when working an undercover narcotics case. Warren was shot 15 times and succumbed to his injuries, and Kurt was shot 9 times and obviously survived. As officers, we all know the mortal danger in the job, and that point was made again Tuesday afternoon right here in Jacksonville. Concerns of Police Survivors organization has always been there for all of us and our families and our colleagues, and especially for those who go through what Kurt went through. So as a survivor, he decided to dedicate his time and efforts to helping others. As Mr. Shinholzer reminded me, this is long overdue, and we obviously give this appreciation today with our most, again, heartfelt appreciation. So Kurt, I want to thank you for your dedication to the concerns of police survivors. I want to thank you for your service to this community. With that, I'll ask Mr. Shinholzer to come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Sheriff Williams. I appreciate the opportunity to be here, and I really appreciate seeing Kurt recognized. I've been involved with Kurt for a long time. He's working with concerns of police survivors for quite a while, and the He's an effective coworker. Most people don't know what concern the police survivors is. We furnish the resources to rebuild the lives of the families of officers killed in the line of duty. And we actually furnish those resources to Kirk. I've seen Kirk from way back when he was not doing too good after being shot, and being able to be work with concern for police survivors. He has served as our vice president at the present time. He's also served a term as our president of our chapter. But he does so much, giving his life to help other families that's been killed on the line of duty, and we appreciate him, and I appreciate Jackson Sheriff's Office. If it was not for you, we could not do what we do. Our chapter of the United States is the best in the country, thanks to Jackson Sheriff's Office.
Real quick, I'm gonna take this opportunity, not just thank you, Mr. Kirkman, thank you, Mr. Shinholzer and Ms. Shinholzer. I can tell you, COPS is such an important organization. Every time myself and President Zona go to the academy to sign up new members, we mention COPS, saying you guys don't get thanked nearly enough for as much time and dedication as you guys put in after being retired. You guys are a great example for current guys. So from a current guys, I can't thank you enough for what you do. Great example for young officers, and we appreciate you. So we have a plaque here that we want to present you guys.
So Kurt, the JSO, in conjunction with concerns of the police survivors, want to recognize you for your dedication, again, to the families of those killed in the line of duty and the COPS organization in general. So thank you, sir. Kurt, you have some family here with you? Just the JSO family, and the COPS family, all right. One more round of applause. All right, outstanding. So before we go to the next presentation for the day, excuse me, I want to give you a brief overview of a very important program that's used by law enforcement agencies. It's known as LINKS. This is an acronym that stands for the Law Enforcement Information Exchange. Multiple law enforcement agencies share information that can be accessed by authorities from all other law enforcement agencies. Our Cops Without Borders Enforcement is a great example of application of this information sharing. Today, one of our police sergeants is being recognized for successfully utilizing this program in June of 2015, which resulted in the positive identification, of a suspect in a double murder. So to present this award, we are honored to have members from several law enforcement partners here with us today, as the Index Excellent Award is awarded to Police Sergeant Michael Moon. So with the honoree, Police Sergeant Michael Moon, please join me at the podium, Mike. And also with the following law enforcement partners, please join me at the podium. Carlton Peoples, who's the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI Jackson Field Office. Justin Hill, the DDAX Links Branch Chief and NCIS Directorate of Intelligence and Information Sharing. Chris Peterson, the Division Chief, Special Agent of Law Enforcement Information Sharing at NCIS. Dale Smith, Project Manager and Technical Specialist for the FBI Criminal Justice Information Services Division. Francis Dunlap, Southeast Links Program Manager and NCIS Coordinator. Mark Burnell, the Assistant Special Agent in charge of the Florida Department of Law Enforcement at the Jacksonville office. And Colleen Wood from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Deputy Southeast Links Program Manager. All right. Thank you all.
Good morning. I'm Carlton Peoples, Assistant Special Agent in charge of the FBI's Jackson Division's Criminal Branch. With me today, Dale Smith from the FBI's National Data Exchange Program at the Criminal Justice Information Service Division. We're honored to be here with you today to present three very important awards. The National Data Exchange System, or Index, was created by the FBI after 9/11 to help local, state, and federal law enforcement agencies share information. Today, more than 6,000 agencies, including JSO, regularly submit case data to Index. The system gives investigators access to more than 600 million records. This helps them analyze data and coordinate the next crucial step in their investigations. The FBI has also worked to align the Index system with information sharing systems facilitated by other federal agencies to further expand the data available to investigators. One example of this is our partnership with NCS and Link Systems. Link uses search the Index system, and Link data is provided to Index users. The awards today involve the use of the Index through the NCIS Link system. We hope to foster this partnership for years to come. The Index Excellent Awards were created a few years ago to recognize the use of the Index system and share success stories. But more importantly, these demonstrate our appreciation of you. Without avid Index users and their agency support, we could not be as effective. These awards reflect the appreciation of the CJS Division and the entire FBI. Each of the recipients help us carry out our mission by getting the right information in the right hands at the right time, promoting the United States and promoting public safety. This brings us to the story behind the awards, and the sheriff went into it just a little bit. On January 29, 2016, JSO responded to a suspicious person called at a hotel. A white male was acting strange upon check-in and later called 911 from his room. The 911 call went to the hotel's front desk, so the clerk called the police. JSO went to the room and could hear someone moaning, but there was no answer at the door. JSO forced entry into the room and found an unresponsive white male on the bed. The only form of identification JSO found inside the room was a Social Security card. While rescue personnel checked on the subject, JSO ran the name through the NCIC with no results due to not having a date of birth. When they checked the Social Security number through Southeast Link, JSO located the date of birth for the same subject provided through records from the FBI's Index system. A subsequent check of the name and date of birth through NCIC resulted in a positive hit for 2 criminal homicide warrants for the subject. Wanted out of Tennessee, the subject was alleged to have committed a double murder the day before his mother and father-in-law. Without the Index results, JSO stated they would not have been able to positively identify a double murder suspect or locate the murder warrants as quickly. So the first Excellence Award I'd like to hand out this morning is to Sergeant Michael Moon. For your dedication to information sharing, the FBI CJS Division appreciates your efforts and presents you with the 2017 FBI Index Excellence in Information Sharing Award. We all know culture is very important. Individual staff members operate within the environment provided by their senior staff and administration, who provide the climate that allows excellence to be achieved. For that reason, we also recognize the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office for supporting the environment in which the award recipient has thrived. The agency award is being received by Sheriff Michael Williams. For your agency's dedication to information sharing, the FBI CJS Division appreciates the environment you maintain and presents you with the 2017 FBI Index Excellence in Sharing Award. As the partnership in this case shows, we also appreciate NCS and the Link staff for their continued support for nationwide information sharing. The Links Award is being received by the Southeast Links Program Manager, Fran Dunlap. The FBI CJS Division appreciates your agency's dedication to information sharing and looks forward to the continued partnership with Links.